Hi, today's movie is The Stone Tape, the 1972 science fiction ghost story directed by Peter Sasdy and written by Nigel Kneale. It stars Jane Asher, Iain Cuthbertson, Michael Bryant and Michael Bates. A tech company is setting up new premises in a 19th century manor house that was built on the ruins of a much older building. Their goal, to replace audio and videotape with some new kind of recording medium, is interrupted by strange happenings in the house. So the team use their technological skills and equipment to investigate the haunting. But computer scientist Jill is affected by the haunting much more than the others and begins to understand it in ways that they don't, with disastrous consequences. The Stone Tape is one of those rare films in which an original and thrilling concept is executed perfectly. For my money, Nigel Kneale was one of the most interesting and original screenwriters of the 20th century, often working at this really interesting intersection of science fiction and horror, with electrifying results, and never more so than in The Stone Tape. The Stone Tape asks us, what if ghosts were not the lingering spirits of the dead, but rather a kind of recording stuck into the fabric or structure of a building or environment? Now, this is a fairly radical concept in trying to understand the phenomenon of hauntings and ghosts, and from what I understand, this idea is actually now called the Stone Tape theory. But Nigel Kneale takes this amazing idea and turns it into a chilling and disturbing human drama. Just as in Nigel Kneale's astonishing script for Quatermass and the Pit, the story in The Stone Tape peels away layer after layer, like an excavation, to reach a place of deep horror and intensely disturbing weirdness. And who doesn't love some intensely disturbing weirdness? And just like in Quatermass and the Pit, in The Stone Tape, Nigel Kneale places a woman at the center of the story as the only character able to connect to the deep phenomenon underway. Jane Asher gives a powerful performance as Jill, the psychically sensitive computer scientist, in an all-male environment of very rowdy and jokey men who are all too eager to dismiss her concerns and her insights. Kneale brings in the interesting angle of misogyny as a complicating factor in the conflict of this story. As Jill's boss, who is also her married lover, Peter, is constantly dismissing and deriding her ideas and her feelings explicitly because she's a woman. Michael Bryant gives a great performance as the insensitive, womanizing bastard, Peter, who rides roughshod over the ghost investigation and wants to shut it all down after he accidentally erases the recording in the building and no longer thinks there's any profit to be made from pursuing the matter further. Undaunted, Jill continues the investigation on her own, ultimately facing the formless and unnamed forces underlying the haunting by herself. Peter Sasdy, who's familiar to Hammer fans, directs this TV film with style and understatement, and I thought the lighting was particularly effective in creating the Stone Tape's atmosphere of dread and horror. I thought that part of the genius of Kneale's script here is the fact that it all takes place in a scientific environment, and somehow this makes it all the more terrifying. The Stone Tape has some genuinely chilling moments, and it dares to leave some of its questions unanswered. It will leave you with so much to think about. That a TV movie from 1972 manages to achieve all of this, I think, is incredible. If you enjoy ghost stories that are a bit different, The Stone Tape is a remarkably original and compelling film. If you know Nigel Kneale's work already, I don't have to tell you what a genius he was, but if his work is unfamiliar to you, then you're in for a real treat with The Stone Tape. The Stone Tape might not be a big budget production, but the strength of its storytelling, its amazing concepts, and its great cast make this really compelling viewing. The whole cast is fantastic, and British science fiction fans might also spot Tom Chadbon, who played Del Grant in Blake 7, among the supporting players. I would highly recommend The Stone Tape, and I really hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope I'll see you next time. Bye.